Anukramanika Parva. Section 1. In the sacred grove of Naimisha, where the air hummed with the echoes of divine chants and the glow of ritual fires illuminated the wisdom of ages, a profound meeting unfolded. The venerable Ugrasrava, the son of Lomahashana and known widely as Sauti, approached the circle of sages with the utmost humility. These ascetics, led by the illustrious Saunaka, had just concluded a 12-year yajna and now rested in serene contemplation, their minds yearning for stories imbued with divine truths. Sauti, his frame weary from his travels but his heart brimming with sacred knowledge, saluted the sages with folded hands and offered inquiries into their spiritual pursuits. The sages welcomed him warmly, providing him a place to rest. Once he was comfortably seated and his fatigue had subsided, one of the sages, his voice gentle yet eager, addressed him. "Whence have you come, O learned Sauti? What tales and wisdom do you carry from the realms you have traversed?" Sauti, his countenance bright with reverence, began to speak, his words carrying the weight of the ancient lore. "O revered ones, I have journeyed far and wide, visiting sacred waters and holy shrines. My path led me to the land of Samantapanchaka, where the epic battle of the Kurus and Pandavas was fought, a land sanctified by the sacrifices of countless warriors and the blessings of the twice-born. From there I came here, eager to share the wisdom I have gathered." The sages, their curiosity piqued, pressed him further. "Tell us, O sage, of the Bharata, the grand narrative composed by the great Vyasa. Recount to us the sacred story recited by Vaisampayana at the snake sacrifice of King Janamejaya, for it is said to contain the essence of the Vedas and the wisdom of the ages." Sauti, bowing in deference, invoked the divine. "I bow to the primordial being Isna, the eternal and incorruptible, who is both manifest and unmanifest. I bow to the Creator, the Sustainer and the Destroyer, to Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. With their blessings I shall recount the divine narrative as composed by Vyasa, a work unparalleled in its depth and grandeur." With the sages listening intently, Sauti narrated how the world, shrouded in darkness at the dawn of time, saw the birth of the cosmic egg, the Mahadevya. From this emerged Brahma, the Creator, followed by the Prajapatis, the deities and the celestial beings. He spoke of the cycles of creation and dissolution, the eternal wheel of time, and the countless generations that emerged from the divine essence. As the narrative unfolded, Sauti described the genesis of the Bharata, a work that encapsulated the mysteries of the Vedas, the truths of Dharma, and the essence of human existence. He recounted how Vyasa, the sage of incomparable wisdom, composed the epic after meditating on the eternal truths of the cosmos. Yet when the work was complete, Vyasa sought someone to transcribe it. It was then that Brahma, the Creator, appeared before Vyasa, radiating divine light. "O Vyasa," said Brahma, "your work is a poem of unparalleled beauty and wisdom. None shall rival its majesty. Call upon Ganesha, the remover of obstacles, to inscribe your words." Thus, the stage was set for the creation of the Mahabharata, the great narrative that would become a beacon of wisdom for ages to come. As Sauti's voice resonated through the forest, the sages listened in rapt attention, their hearts uplifted by the sacred tale that transcended time. The great Sauti narrated, "When Vyasa had finished his prayers and sought the blessings of Brahma to compose the grand Bharata, Brahma, the Creator, after granting his approval, retired to his celestial abode. Vyasa then meditated upon Ganesha, the remover of obstacles and patron of intellect. No sooner had Vyasa invoked him than Ganesha appeared before him, ready to fulfill his wish. After offering his salutations, Vyasa said to Ganesha, "O Lord of the Ganas, I seek your assistance. Be the scribe for the Bharata, which I shall narrate from the depths of my imagination." Ganesha, hearing these words, replied, "I shall fulfill your desire, O sage, but on one condition. My pen must not stop writing for even a moment." Vyasa, smiling at the divine challenge, answered, "Let it be so. But whenever you encounter a verse whose meaning you do not comprehend, you must pause until I explain it to you." Ganesha agreed by uttering the sacred syllable Om, and began to write as Vyasa dictated. However, Vyasa in his wisdom deliberately composed complex and intricate verses to occasionally grant himself a moment to contemplate further. Thus the great work was set in motion. Sauti continued, "This monumental work is a treasure trove of wisdom. Its intricacies are such that even Ganesha, the divine scribe, had to pause in thought. Today only a few, like Sukha and Sanjaya, grasp the full depth of its most profound verses. The Bharata enlightens humanity like the sun dispelling the darkness, illuminating the paths of righteousness, worldly success, pleasure and liberation. Its teachings, akin to a soothing moonbeam, expand the intellect, unveiling the mysteries of life as expounded in the Vedas. Sauti likened the Bharata to a vast and eternal tree. Its chapter of contents is the seed. The divisions of Pauloma and Astika are its roots. The section called Sambhava forms the sturdy trunk, while the books named Sabha and Aranya serve as resting branches. The essence of Virata and Udyoga is the core. Bhishma is the main branch, and Drona the leaves. The flowers bloom as Kana, spreading their fragrance in Salya. The refreshing shade is offered by Stri and Ayushika, while the fruit of this tree ripens in Shanti. The sap of immortality flows in Asvamedha, its dwelling is found in Asramavasika, and its epitome is realized in Mausala. Truly, this grand narrative is inexhaustible, its wisdom serving as sustenance for countless poets and thinkers across ages. Sauti further elaborated on the lineage and the creation of the Bharata. Vyasa, by divine arrangement, fathered Dhritarashtra, Pandu and Vidura through the wives of Vichitravirya. After completing his familial duties, Vyasa retreated into solitude. It was only after the demise of the great kings of the Kuru dynasty that Vyasa, at the request of Janamejaya and a host of Brahmanas, shared the epic through his disciple Vaisampayana. Sauti narrated how Vaisampayana recited the Bharata during the intervals of a grand sacrificial ceremony. The tale detailed the valour of the Pandavas, the wisdom of Vidura, the devotion of Kunti, and the divine nature of Krishna. The Bharata began as 24,000 verses, known simply as Bharata, but Vyasa expanded it to encompass 100,000 verses. These verses were shared with the Devas, Pitris, Gandharvas, that the Pandavas, victorious in battle, were once again united with their allies, and that Krishna, the Supreme Soul, bestowed blessings upon them. Then, O Sanjaya, I had no hope of success. When I heard that Yudhishthira, the embodiment of Dharma, had performed the Ashwamedha sacrifice and was crowned emperor, ensuring the prosperity of the world, then, O Sanjaya, I had no hope of success. When I heard that the virtuous Pandavas, despite their trials and sufferings, upheld righteousness and sought peace over vengeance, while my sons, consumed by greed and arrogance, brought about their own destruction, then, O Sanjaya, I had no hope of success. When I heard of the unshakable bond between Krishna and the Pandavas, their reliance on divine guidance and their unwavering faith in Dharma, while my sons faltered under the weight of adharma, then, O Sanjaya, I had no hope of success. And now, O Sanjaya, as the remnants of my family lie scattered and broken, I realize the folly of my ways and the blindness, not just of my eyes but of my judgment, that led to this devastating war. Fate has played its hand, and the consequences of our actions are upon us. What remains now is to accept the will of destiny and seek solace in the eternal truth. Dhritarashtra's words reflect the depth of his despair and the clarity of his hindsight, a poignant realization of the inevitable doom brought upon by the unchecked pride and ambition of his sons. In days of yore, the mighty kings, revered in both strength and virtue, were numerous. Among them were the heroic Saivya, the Mahabharata, Srinjaya, famed for his victories in battle, Suhotra, Rantideva and Kakshivanta, who shone in glory, Valhika, Damana, Saryati, Ajita and Nala, whose names echoed in the realms of renown. There was also Visvamitra, a relentless foe of evil, Ambarisha, a paragon of strength, Maruta, Manu, Ikshaku, Gaya and Bharata, and Rama, the valiant son of Dasaratha. Sasavindu, Bhagiratha and Kritavirya, the fortunate ones, also graced this illustrious line, and Janamejaya, the mighty, who upheld justice and righteousness. Among these, Yayati, known for his virtuous deeds, performed sacrifices aided by celestial beings. His sacred altars and stakes marked the land, inscribing his name across both the inhabited and uninhabited corners of the earth. These 24 kings were recounted by the celestial sage Narada to King Saivya, who was deeply sorrowful over the loss of his children. Yet before these revered monarchs, there had been even greater rulers, charioteers of extraordinary might, whose nobility of spirit and resplendent qualities set them apart. Among these were Puru, Kuru, Yadu, Sura, and Visvasrava, all shining in glory. Anuha, Yuvanasvu, Kakutstha, Vikrami and Raghu followed in their footsteps. There was also Vijava, Virihorta, Anga, Bhava, Sveta and Vripadguru, Usinara, Sataratha, Kanka, Duliduha and Druma, Dambhodbhava, Para, Vina, Sagara, Sankriti and Nimi, Ajaya, Parasu, Pundra, Sambhu and the holy Deva Vridha. Then there were Devahuya, Supratika and Vrihadratha, Mahatsaha, Vinitatma, Sukratu and Nala. The noble king of the Nishadas, Satyavrata, Santabhaya, Sumitra and the eminent Subala. Alongside them were Janujangha, Anaranya, Arka, Priyabritya, Chuchivrata, Balabandhu, Nimada, Ketusringa and Bridbala. Also Drishtaketu, Brihatketu, Driptaketu and Niramaya. Abhikshit, Chapala, Durta, Kritbandhu and Dridhe Shuddhi. And finally, Mahapurana Sambhavya, Pratyanga, Paraha and Sruti. These and many others, their names recited by learned sages, lived before and after, their deeds immortalized in the annals of history. Even in their grandeur, their life paths led them to their inevitable end. The celestial sages spoke of these great kings as men of valor, faith, truth, purity and mercy. Their deeds were marked by generosity and compassion, yet like all beings they met their fates. Though these kings possessed noble qualities, their fate, driven by time and destiny, was unavoidable. King Dhritarashtra, overwhelmed with sorrow at the loss of his sons, was comforted by the sage, who spoke wisely of fate's unyielding course. "O Bharata," he said, "you are learned in the sastras, wise and intelligent, yet you mourn for what cannot be changed. For the decrees of fate cannot be altered, no matter how great one's wisdom. Time, the root of all creation and destruction, governs all. It is time that gives birth to all things and extinguishes them. Nothing can escape the march of time, for it is eternal and unchallenged." With these words, the sage endeavoured to restore Dhritarashtra's peace, urging him not to lament what was beyond his control. Understanding that existence, non-existence, pleasure and pain all stem from time, he reassured the king that his grief was unwarranted. Sauti, recounting this exchange, spoke of the holy Upanishad composed by Dvaipayana, which later became part of the Puranas. This sacred text, the Mahabharata, has been revered throughout the ages for its depth and wisdom. The Bharata, which is recited with devotion, cleanses the reader of all sins. Even reading a single foot of it with faith purges one's soul. In this epic, the devas, rishis and sages of pure deeds are glorified, and the story of the eternal Vasudeva, the Supreme Soul, is told. It speaks of the creation of the universe and its cycles of birth, death and rebirth. For those who read or hear the Mahabharata with reverence, their sins are obliterated. The faithful who recite its verses during the twilights are freed from the burden of their misdeeds, whether committed during the day or the night. The Mahabharata, like butter in curd, Brahmana among men and the sea among bodies of water, stands unparalleled among histories. Its recitation brings long life, renown, and the promise of heavenly ascension. In ancient times, when the Vedas and the Bharata were weighed by the celestials, the latter was found to be more substantial, heavier in meaning and importance than the four Vedas. It was then that the epic came to be known as the Mahabharata, the great Bharata, esteemed above all other texts. Through this great work, the study of virtue, the pursuit of knowledge, and the ways of devotion are made clear. It is said that even one recitation can wash away the sins of the listener, guiding them toward a righteous path. Tapa, study, and the practices of virtue, when performed with purity, lead one to salvation. But when misused, they can become sources of great harm. Thus, The Mahabharata remains an eternal guide, its wisdom transcending time and space, offering lessons for all who seek to understand the mysteries of life, death, and the cycles of existence.